Okay, we are now coming up on Crescent City, showing about 12 miles out. I'm guessing it's probably over here somewhere. I haven't seen the airport show up. I decided to go ahead and bypass Crescent City. I do have plenty of fuel left. I'm on my left wing tank right now. I'm going to switch tanks over to here. I certainly have more than half the fuel, I believe, more than half the fuel left that I started out with. Let me, just curious to know where that airport is since I'm not seeing it show up. It's probably about right here. Somewhere on this bay right here, which is really interesting because it's called Crescent City, so there is a crescent here, and that's always kind of been my impression of it, that there was some kind of a crescent shape involved to the land features there. If I recall, I do believe I can remember this point going out here. I've been to Crescent City twice, so I was kind of saving this flyover for these stories. I believe I've been there twice. I was there's an airport. That must be it right there. That must be Crescent City down there. Wow, it seems closer than 8 miles, but that would be a pretty cool place to land. But I'm gonna keep going on because I think I have enough fuel for Eureka. My stories on Crescent City. The first time I was there was on that trip with my parents coming back up the coast. We had gone down through the redwoods. Okay, so that would have been actually, Crescent City is where you go up. It's one way, I believe, that you to go up and go drive through the redwoods. I believe that is the kind of famous drive through the redwoods, and Crescent City is on the other end of that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. On that trip we had gone down, it must have been Grants Pass on I-5, and driven down through the redwoods and then ended up in Crescent City. I do remember having a hotel, I believe it was Crescent City, with my mom and dad. We were at this motel, and I remember it was a motel specifically. It was one of those maybe 2-story things right off of the main road. And it was a really, it was a really good memory. I remember there being, it was foggy, misty, and I remember there was a swimming pool there that I'm pretty sure I swam in. I think it was outside, but I can't remember. It was a thing I used to do back then. Anytime I had the opportunity to go swimming, I probably was swimming for exercise back then. This was 1998, and I did used to swim laps in a pool at the Y, so it might have been around that time, because I remember anytime I ended up at a hotel, which really would have only been when I was on trips with my parents, that I would always utilize the pool. If there was a pool there, I would always use it for exercise. And I did use it there at that one time at the motel we had. And I also remember, I feel like there was some kind of a store nearby, and I don't know if I needed socks or I just found socks that I liked, but I remember going to the store, like it was within walking distance, and I remember getting a bunch of socks there. I don't know, just a funny memory. Some good quality socks thick socks that I remember I lasted me for years and years and years after that, and I always remembered that. The other story was not too long after that. My girlfriend and me at the time were driving back up the coast from all the way down from San Diego from visiting my sister and my family. We had met down there. My sister used to live in Oceanside, and my parents flew out there, and my girlfriend and I at the time drove all the way down the coast and rented a car and drove all the way down there. And we were on our way back up the coast, and one of the places we stopped was Crescent City, and this was Christmas time or like New Year's. It was after New Year's, I believe. It was right around New Year's. Yeah, because we had spent, well, the place where I'm going now is going to be, oops, I didn't want to start a roll there. Actually, before I continue with my story, I want to dial in Eureka, because I should be able to get that. It is 110.2. All right, so I'm already getting some kind of a heading here. 160, 158, 156. So I'm basically on a good heading already for for Eureka, and I have plenty of fuel. I shouldn't have any problem. I'm only 50 miles away, less than 50 miles away. I should be good on fuel. I do believe I've traveled at least 50 miles. I'm sure it's been more than that. And it looks like I have more than half of my fuel left. So I should be okay. It is taking a slight gamble. I was going to point out, but I didn't get the chance, the layout of Crescent City. Let's see what's on here. As I recall, the mountains do kind of come down to the water pretty close. And the time I was there with my girlfriend at the time, I remember we had some decisions to make whether we wanted to continue up all the way up the coast, because I had really kind of wanted to go through the redwoods, or I knew that we had to get over to I-5. Maybe that was more the motivation, but we had to get back up to the freeway. But I was worried. I remember. Well, let me set the stage. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of stage setting, I guess, but I know it was like I said, it was winter. It was very. It was raining. I remember when we came through Crescent City, so it was very wet, and also very kind of foggy, misty, very dreary and dark. And I remember you could see driving up the shore, you could see it was like very rough waves and a lot of like weather coming in off of the water. And like I said, I do remember that sort of spit of land, I think, jutting out. And and I remember having to make a decision, because if we were going to go up to I don't remember what road it is, but this road that cuts up this way and then connects up with I-5. Might be able to see I-5. No, it's not. It's not there. I remember it was a big decision because I was worried about the pass. It's called a pass, right? Grants Pass. I was worried about snow. And I was really kind of worried about snow on the whole trip because I didn't really know what it was going to be like along the way. And we had seen, driving I-5 south on the way down in Northern California, we did run into, well, we didn't run into snow, but we ran into places that had snowed recently near Redding or Weed, California. We stayed at a hotel in Weed, California, which there were snowbanks on either side of the freeway. And I was just afraid of running into snow. I just was trying to be very cautious, and I didn't know like how bad it was going to be up in the mountains. Because like I said, we'd encountered snow a little bit south of Grants Pass. We started to get into some snow. So I was thinking maybe there would be snow up there, and the weather was really bad down on the coast, so I didn't know what, I just didn't know what to expect, and I just didn't know if it was a bad move to try to get up into the mountains. And I remember pulling off at probably a gas station in Crescent City, and I don't know if there were truckers in there or somebody was talking about the roads, or it's very vague memories that I have, but somehow I don't remember what it was. Either they weren't talking about it or they were talking about it. But I remember trying to gauge people, like I might have asked somebody, like, is there going to be snow up there at Grants Pass? I don't even remember exactly the details, but ultimately we decided to go ahead and take the road up. And it was kind of dark. We did drive through that road, through the redwoods, but it was very wet, very dark and dreary. We didn't really see, it wasn't like a very spectacular drive through the redwoods, but we did see redwoods on the way up. And then ultimately when we got to Grants Pass, there was no problem. There was no snow up there at all. And I was more like concerned about just the name. Like I said, Grants Pass. It is a pass, so it's, yeah, and I knew we were driving up into the mountains. I just didn't know that time of year what to be worried about. So that's my Crescent City story, or stories. And yeah, I don't know, that first one, that whole trip for me, that first trip with my parents, that whole trip for me was there was something very spiritual about that trip, and I can't even really explain what it was. Well, I need to here I'm gabbing away, and I'm almost at 7,000 feet. I really need to come back down. But yeah, like I said, that was in fall. That was in early or late summer. It was like September, early September, I think. when we were doing that trip. And I just remember there being like, I don't know, I just remember feeling this real sort of cosmic energy, cosmic vibe or something, like just maybe that whole time period in my life. I don't know, but I was really feeling the vibe. There was something about that time in my life, the trip, the places where we went on that trip. And I just remember feeling a real vibe there in Crescent City, and just being out on that road in front of the motel there, and there was like a row of trees or something across the road, and then the ocean was on the other side. And I just remember this vibe, this real strong vibe that I was feeling. It's hard to describe. It was very mystical. Felt like I was really in touch with some larger thing that was larger than myself. It's just hard to describe, but real fond memories of Crescent City for me. Just being on the road, the time with my girlfriend too, and like the sense of almost like danger too at the time, like kind of like putting things into an elevated state, if you will. There's something about Crescent City, I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel the vibe the times that I've been there. So I am going to start kind of coming down. I need to lose a lot of elevation here. So I'm going to let myself drop down. Now, Crescent City on that trip, my girlfriend and I also stayed in Eureka. And that was also very cool. We stayed in Eureka on New Year's Eve. So that would have been the night before getting to Crescent City. And that was also a very cool place. There's like a mansion there, like an old Victorian mansion. And again, it's like right on the coast. It's kind of similar in some ways to Crescent City. I think it's bigger though. And I just remember like walking the streets of Eureka and on New Year's Eve, and because we kind of were trying to find like a bar or something, I think. I don't remember if we actually ever did go into a bar. But I do remember walking the streets and coming upon that beautiful old Victorian mansion that's there. It's kind of like a dark purple color. I don't even know what you would call that. Bluish, maybe. Kind of the color of this, actually, the water here. And that was just like a real, I don't know, it was a good experience as well. So I'll always remember those two cities from that trip, Eureka and Crescent City. And I've always kind of imagined going back to Eureka to play like coffee shops or something, because it seemed like there were a lot of small bars and like coffee shops and stuff there. I'm a musician, so it always seemed like an ideal place to like maybe set up a place to stop there, like on a tour down the coast or something like that. It's just something that I've always kind of considered ever since. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look. I want to get some more information about Eureka. Looking out the back. Maybe I should have set up some weather, some cloud cover, just to kind of memorialize my time and time along this part of the coast. So I am going to be, there's 2 airports in Eureka, possibly 3 actually, to choose from. 31, 30, let me look at that again. I just kind of want to set up where I'm going to try to land. 31, 32, 33. There's Eureka Murray, Eureka Municipal, and Arcata. So I'm going to look at my information on those 2. Eureka Municipal has 1 runway, which is pretty much right on my heading, runway 16. Or I could go Eureka Municipal and runway 11 or runway 7. I think I'm just going to make this easy on myself, and I'm just going to do, what do I want to do here? Which is which? Can't really tell from the map how these are oriented. I'll bet you the Murray one is another landing over the water. I don't know. It's been a long trip, and I think rather than try to mess with it, I'm just gonna go the easy route and land at Murray or Municipal. Runway 16. Now let me see. $160 is telling me that I am left of that. Is that right? Okay. 150 is my 2 setting. but I want a heading of 160 in order to line up with that runway. This is where I got messed up in the first leg. So if I type in 160, I'm not on that bar, I'm on 150. If I want to be on 160, I do have to go left, I believe. Let's see how this works. I know I'm losing a lot of altitude. I'm a little bit lower than I'd like to be. So I'm applying a little bit of throttle. Am I doing this right? I think I am. Yeah. Because now bar the radial of 150, I am now west of it, and I was on it. So this means I'm traveling closer to 160. So now I'm crossing the 154 radial. Now about 156. And I want to make my way over to 160. When I start getting closer to 160, then I'm going to turn right at a heading of 160, and I should be lined up with the runway, with runway 16. Okay, 158. I'm going to start a very gradual bank to the right. That could be the airport right there. Okay, I don't think I'm ready yet for that, to commit to that full turn. So that must be Eureka right there. I don't actually know. Let me look at the map here. This is where the map lacks detail. So I don't really know which VOR, which airport this VOR actually applies to. So, oops, got a little sidetracked there. 160, I'm on the 160 radial. And then I'm now working my way to a heading of 160. I don't know, it's going to be interesting what happens when I get closer. I don't know really which airport. It must be this one. It looks like there's an airport over there, so it's probably this one. I'm going to go ahead and lower my flaps now. Drop my flaps. I'm 8 miles out. This is Eureka is basically at sea level. I just want to check my save states here real quick. I'm at 4. So I've got a slot 5 to save to. I've been coming in really too low. My approaches the last 2 times. So I really want to be careful of that. They say you're really supposed to kind of more like drop in and on a steeper descent, because if you were on a long, low descent, if you were to have some kind of mechanical problem or let alone engine failure, you wouldn't have any chance to recover. But if you had more elevation on your approach, and you started having problems, you would have enough air underneath you to get down safely. More of a chance anyway. I'm not exactly following best practices every time, but I still feel like I'm coming in way too low. I've had much better landings when I've come in a little bit higher. So I'm at 5 miles at a little over 1,000 feet. Somehow I keep ending up drifting left. I've just been noticing that. Okay, that's saying 62. I don't think this is the airport, actually. Because it looks like there's 2 runways, and the one I was going to land at, Municipal, only has one runway. So I'm a little confused here. Let me check the... Okay, I'm not really close enough to see. I just changed fuel tanks. I mean, I'm sure I had plenty left on the right one, but the left one has more. I was just like, well, I don't see the runway I'm supposed to land at, and I might have to do a circle and land at this one if I can't find my airport. Three and a half miles out, I should be seeing it. Three, 31. I'm gonna check my maps again to see what's going on here. 30. Oh, maybe that's it. I don't know. 31 is Murray, 32 is Muni. I don't know where I'm landing. I think it's there. This is saying I'm 1.5 miles from. This is where I got confused before. That's just the VOR. It's not the airport. So I don't know where the VOR is in relation to these airports. I don't know. Is that it? Geez, I probably could land there if I was really ambitious right now. Although I am pretty high in elevation. I don't know where these airports are. Well, I've just passed the VOR now. Now I'm showing from, and this is flipped. So I can't depend on that anymore. I'm feeling like this is maybe Arcata, because I think it's on the other side of this bay thing. And something over here is maybe the airport that I want, but I just don't know. I think I'm going to have to do a flyover of wherever it is I'm going to land at. Or I could just turn around and try landing at Murray. It's funny, I feel like I need coffee. I'm not gonna get coffee, it's late at night here, or getting late, evening. I kind of do feel like I'm on some kind of a trip here, like a road trip, where I kind of like need to focus on something. That looks like an airport. I don't know where these things, there were things over here. There's that. Is that an airport? Huh. Or is that an airport? I could just land here. My fuel is starting to get a little low. That one's starting to get kind of low. That one's maybe at about half. I should be okay though. If I have to circle around, I'm sure I have enough. Man, I almost feel like I should be safe. Just do the safe thing and I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if there's something out here on that point. Because when I zoom out, gosh, this is so confusing. I just don't have, based on all of the information that I have, I just can't, it's really hard to tell what's going on over here. And that might be an airport. think it is. Looks pretty sketch though, man. Like if I was feeling very adventurous, I could try to land there. It looks like it's not a very long runway. If that is a fact. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sketched out. I think I'm just going to turn around. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a runway right there. That is not the one, though. That's not the one I was headed for. I could just land there. Probably be easier than turning around. Just not really sure what I'm doing here. I don't like that. Yeah, I think that is an airport. That's probably municipal. Whoa. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to Murray. Because I at least have like VOR to work with, and I think it's right at. I think the VOR is situated right at the head of that one runway that we flew over, where I said I could have landed. So I'm gonna look on my map. And figure out which runway I want. I think it's runway 7. So I'm going to go ahead and actually I want to look at the, yeah, oh wow. I could land there. I'm lined up pretty good on that. Huh, it's tempting. It's tempting. You know what? Not today. There's just not, there's no room, there's no margin for error on either end. I can't believe they put an airport there. That is crazy. There's just not enough margin for error for me. I want to utilize, like I said, it's been a long leg of this trip. And I am getting a little light on fuel. I just want to make sure that I get this thing down safely. And I'm going to aim for runway 7 at Murray. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a U-turn here out over the ocean. I'm gonna dial in this VOR at 70. Starting to get a 2 reading now. Wow, I'm kind of nervous, actually. This is like being on a road trip in a car where you don't really know where you are and you're a little flustered. Okay, there's the airport right there. And I'm 11 miles out. I do want to head this way, I believe. Let's see where we are on the radial. This first pass might not work. Gosh, I wish it would come up on radar. Oops. I'm just all over the place. I kind of want to see what radial I'm on. Just having a really hard time figuring out how to line up this runway. I just can't seem to get it to come up on radar. So I don't know exactly where the runway is lined up. Since I'm a little confused, I think I'm just gonna fly over the airport and get a lay of this thing, because I'm just confused. Because it looks like there's a runway going this way now, and it's not what I was expecting. I'm just a lost puppy out here. That must be runway 11. I was expecting something different. Do I want to chance it? Probably too high for a landing. $1,400 feet. I don't think I'm going to try this one. I am starting to get low on fuel a little bit here, though. I might have made this one. Let's switch fuel tanks. Yeah, this must be runway 1129 that I'm looking at here. It's not quite as long as the other one. And there I am coming over the VOR. Which one do I want? Maybe I should play it safe and just go for the bigger one, the longer one. Yeah, I'm just kind of flustered. I don't know. That just kind of threw me when I just didn't know where I was landing. Couldn't find the airports. I mean, I have enough fuel. I shouldn't be that worried about that. Yeah, the heading I'm going to want is probably going to be about 290. Wait, is that right? I mean, shit. What am I doing here? Yeah, no, I'm not talking, but I'm just a little bit on the nervy side. But I think I'm gonna get this one now. Switch fuel tanks. Start to cut power a little bit. Get myself a bit of a descent. Got her lined up pretty good. Go ahead and cut power. And I think I'm down. I'm down. All right. Whew. That was stressful. All right. I'm not exactly sure where I am. I think I'm at Eureka Murray. But my heading is 127. That's not quite in keeping with any runway headings. So I kind of want to know what's going on here. Maybe that's part of the confusion. Okay, Arcata. This must be this could be Arcata. Because there is a 13, there's a runway 13, 31. This could be runway 13 at Arcata. Check my save states. I got room for 9. Whew, I don't know. I'm just kind of baffled here. I'll look at the map again. I mean, maybe I should show you what I'm looking at. I don't know if you can see, but this is the convoluted mess I'm trying to sort out. There's like 3 airports in this area right here and a VOR station, and this is also a scan image, so it's really hard to see what's going on there. That's the VOR station, 110.2, and it looks like there's an airport underneath that, and then that says Arcata, and that says Abbott's or something, I don't know. What's Abbott's? Oh, a beta. That's not an airport. Oh, this is Arcata VOR. Is there a Eureka one? There is a Eureka VOR. Oh no, that's Eugene. Okay, so there's an Arcata VOR. So this must be Arcata Airport. Is what I'm guessing. And I'm on a heading of 127, that would be runway 13. Yep, that's where I'm at. I'm at Arcata. The other runway is 1-19, and then, yeah, I figured it out. This is where I am. I don't know if you can tell, but runway 13, and then the way that I'm situated is, oh, can't do that. Anyway, it makes sense to me now. No wonder I was so confused. I wasn't even landing at the right airport. I'm just totally confused. There's so many airports in this area. There's like 3 or 4. It's crazy. I wonder why they need to have so many airports. I mean, Eureka's not that big, I don't think. All right, well, I know where I am. I'm at Arcata. Wow, that was stressful. So anyway, this turned out to be a way longer leg of the trip and video than I don't know, I bargained for, and probably certainly you too. So thanks for if you made it this far into the video. I'm sure you were pinned to the edge of your seat as I was trying to find an airport to land at, all the while getting low on fuel, but I made it. So I'm going to leave it there for now. From Arcata, California. Thanks for watching. Blessings be.